to the RunRX Podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running. Welcome back to the RunRX Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Caroline, and I'm here with Coach Valerie. Coach Valerie, it's 2022. It's a new year. It's January. I gave us a couple of weeks to kind of get rolling because it always takes me a little while to decide, like, what do I really want to be my resolution? And I talked about this on the Tough Love Tuesday this week, that what I put out to our audience is maybe just grabbing one thing, like maybe it's doing the warm up that you have in the YouTube channel and adding that to your daily practice. Like if you just maybe try to do that and tick that off, how many times you can do that, over the course of the year. But what if I have a bigger challenge? Like maybe I want to run like a marathon in October or something, or November. And I want to be able to do this. How do you as a coach put me through that process?
Well, as a coach, I first see what your baseline is. So, I'm going to ask you, how long have you been running? How many halves have you run? Is this if it's your first marathon, how many half marathons have you done? 10Ks, what's your baseline of running will be my first question.
Okay. So if somebody is, say, like for me, let's just take me as an example. I used to run marathons, but I haven't been running for about 3 years. I'm just coming back into it, and I'm really not running that much, but I want to get back into it. So I'm going to set this big goal, Coach Valerie. I'm going to make it marathon in November. Because I'm laughing because I would do this. Before I met Valerie, I would have totally done this. I could totally see myself doing it. That I have to set that goal and then achieve it, and that's what's going to help me achieve that. That's not a good idea.
But I do want to say this though, because almost all of our members, sign up for events, and most people we know as runners, like part of the fun of running is having that event. Some people really need to have that next event on the calendar that keeps them motivated, keeps them going. So I love that. What my challenge is, what I would say to you, if it's been 3 years and you're just getting back into it, I'd say let's set a goal for a really strong 10K or even half marathon. Mm-hmm. And let's get there first. And the fun part is, because we see this a lot, we've had people they come into the membership, they're all excited. They're not willing to give up their race. Right. Even if we say, even if they say to us, gosh, when I hit 1 hour in my run, or I hit 8 to 10 miles, I get in the double digits, I start to get this little pain. And so then we say, well, maybe, not setting a goal of 26.2 yet until we can get through some double digit runs without any pain. Right. You see, that's my goal for people. And what's fun is, and by the way, almost everyone that's gone through us and went ahead and did their event always comes back and says, well, let me try this again. And this time I'll do what you guys recommend.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And as someone myself, like I was that person. I spent 17 years signing up for all the races and loved every second of it, just so you guys know. And I know what it feels like to have that excitement of the race coming up. And I always did the distance challenge leading up to the marathon. But I tell people it's not a joy to run a marathon if I'm not yet enjoying running. So before I would run a marathon, I would make sure that I have done a half marathon or several even, and really enjoy running up to about 2 hours. Not every day, nothing like that, but I know that I get up maybe and run 3 to 5 miles pretty frequently and just enjoy running that distance.
Right. And so you would have me basically start with, say, a 5K and work my way up to that half, right? Working.
Yeah.
Would you have me run
5K, then 10K? Yes. And, we're using these distances because obviously they are very common and most people know these distances. But in my training plans, I do a lot of runs where it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes, instead of setting that mile goal to help people get more and more comfortable with, I really just need to be out there. And again, with that ability of, wow, if I can run 45 minutes and I feel good, progressive run, pain free, then yeah, now let's go try a 10K. See what I mean? It's
So
always,
I was going
go
to say,
ahead.
so if I come into the membership, I get the training plans, right? And I
Oh,
get to
yeah.
work with you on it. Is it just running? I mean, we talk about, we call it the RunRX Strong membership, right? How do you build the strength training into it? Do I now have to work out 7 days a week? Because I don't have that
Yes.
kind of time, you know?
Yes, absolutely. You're right. So we encourage recovery and rest, guys. So on most training plans, when you get your standard training plan, any Runner World magazine plan, they've always got like run, cross train, run, cross train, run, cross train, rest. Like that's almost
Right.
every training plan that I see. And so what we've done instead of that is we have, of course, running, but we also incorporate strength training and we incorporate self-care, which to me, self-care is the stretching, rolling, the recovery, the good stuff. So we also have a skill warm-up, and we're really, really into the skill aspect of it and the strength. Now, the strength part for me, it's written into your training plan. So it's actually part of your running workouts. And when I say strength, I am talking about body weight strength that's specific for running. So when you
Okay.
guys get into the training plan, it's not like, hey, you need to go out and buy a barbell. No, it's
Right.
body weight, and we take you through. Now, guys, if you're already, let me just say this, if you're already following an outside strength training plan, you can just talk about it with me. Obviously, I'm your coach, but the exercises that we give you are specific. They're especially hip and run specific. So I'm going to ask you to do them also. If someone chooses to use RunRX only for their strength, we have a strength library of, if you want to take it further, dumbbells, if you want to add more strength, you can. But the baseline strength for everybody is, just so you guys know, it's not the workouts you see in normal magazines or normal things. Some you'll recognize, but it's running specific to help you get to that running goal.
Okay. So that's really, and we have a lot of that in our free content, right? Because
Oh,
we
yeah,
have the
it's in there.
30-day reboot and we curate. I mean, I help with the social media. You have, God, 9 years, 10 years of content that we try to put in a skill drill, a self-care. We have Fix It Fridays. We have strength training. Sometimes it's one or two movements. And those one or two movements, some of them can be challenging. Pistols is always the one that comes to mind. But they are geared. They're not just arbitrary strength training that you put on our Instagram or our Facebook. Those are specific to running.
Correct. And
Correct?
guys, by the way, I'm a strength person. So I was a
Right.
strength coach way before and a strength trainer, but way before I started running. I was strength and got into the outdoor exercise. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I tell people is I understand if people want to go full throttle and go full out strength training, my training plans work for you. I used to do
Mhm.
the training plans for lift heavy, run long. People wanted to deadlift 500 pounds and run 50 miles. Absolutely, go
Right.
for it.
And you owned a
And
CrossFit gym, didn't you? So
exactly, I had a
you did,
CrossFit
yeah.
gym for 7 years. I mean, I really understand strength. And on the flip end, I have people that are like, I have zero desire to lift weights or do, right? I mean, and I
Right.
respect that 100%. And I've taken those same exact people to Boston, to 100 milers. So for me, my focus on strength is you have the strength in the hip, the foot, the body, the frame to carry you to your distance. And guys, body weight strength is phenomenal. But just so you know, if you want to take it to a further place, we have that option as well. It's the same for me with the mobility, the recovery, the think about, if you go even on my feed, there's a ton of exercises. There's not one this is the best one, but when you come into the training plan, I of course focus it down for you, because the fun of having a training plan is to take out some of that thinking. You don't need to go
Right.
find the best foot exercise. We have it. I promise.
Yeah.
And we'll help you. And that's the fun part, is when you're checking in when you're like, hey, Valerie, this hurts, or hey, this is going on, or this doesn't feel right, we deal with it specifically then just for you right then. When I'm watching you run, I'm watching you. When you send me, if I need to help you with your strength, I need to see if you want to show me your squats, your push-ups, you see, I'm there for that as well.
Yeah. So I had gotten into the strength training when I started running before I even met you, which is part of why you and I gelled. So, because I understood the concept of the strength training with the running. But that was because my nephew, who is also a kinesiology major, had said, because I was older, I was much older now, but I was going to be 45 and I was training for my first marathon. He said, you need to do the strength training because that much running is going to cannibalize your muscles. You're going to actually hurt. Basically, you won't gain any muscle. You'll be feeding off of it. Am I describing it right? It's been 10 years, so I might be describing it wrong.
Well, it's really more that, it's funny. People have, it's kind of a saying like running helps with nothing, but everything helps with running. The reality is that we talked about using elasticity and there's a saying that you're as old as your joints. The reality is that running is a high impact activity. Even if you're the greatest runner and your skill and your efficiency is amazing, it's high impact. It's your body weight on the ground and usually cement. Yeah. So to prepare your body for that kind of activity is why you need muscle tendon elasticity, is why you need strength. And it's not muscular strength as much as it is that combination of understanding how to use your body weight and have the strength to support your own weight when you're running.
Yeah.
That's what
and like you said, you're using everything, right? You're using your heart, you're using your lungs, you're using your arms, you're using your neck, you're using your back, you're using your butt, everything.
All of them, all 600 plus muscles are working. The challenge is what we're trying to help you with is we want your body to work as a symphony.
Yeah. I want you to go out there on your next run, and when you smile or when you frown or when you curse. I used to kind of joke because I ran my long runs on Sunday, and I'm in Texas, and of course, like you are, and of course people would be like, well, I have to go to church. And I'm like, I'm talking to God the whole time I'm running.
Right.
I would swear and I would curse and I would do all the things that, before I found you. Now, of course, praise God.
I will say this though, like running is hard. I mean, running is a challenge, right? Yeah. And so when people say, I want to run a marathon, I would say to them, you realize that you're committing to saying, I want to run anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. I want to run. Right. I want to run for that long. Right. So first I would think I would really like to run. If I really want to put myself out there for hours and hours of running, I should at least enjoy running, right? Yeah. To be able to want to go out there for that kind of time. And so I think we've been led to believe, we'll just keep getting those miles in, keep getting those miles in. And I'm like, no, because if I'm not getting those miles in, well, my body's actually going to be like, please stop.
Yeah.
So instead, take the time to get to that place where you are running and enjoying being out there for that time.
Let's make that our 2022 goal for you guys. Let's hope that you set the goal of that you're going to set 2022 as the year that you learn to find the joy in running.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us on the RunRX Podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.